Fantastic Four. Sue, Reed, Johnny,
Hi.
and Ben.
Okay.
As they race to watch the ESPN playoff broadcast of the National Basketball Association. Will the Fantastic Four make it to the Baxter Building in time for tip-off? Will family dinner get cold? Keep watching the Western Conference Finals to find out.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel's releasing more Fantastic Four trailer footage, this time showing off more of what looks like Galactus and Silver Surfer's attack during the movie while they're in the middle of shooting an in-universe promo that they repurposed as a real-life ESPN promo. So this is them just having a little bit of fun with a retro-futuristic 1960s vibes, tying it to the present-day stuff that they're doing in real life. There's a couple new scenes they also dropped separately from this, so we'll break it all down, just because a lot of questions about the timeline of the movie and how they wind up in that Thunderbolts post-credit scene showing up in the present day of the MCU, basically jumping from the 1960s of their universe to the present day of the MCU, which is something they tried to establish on the Loki series with the way that timelines work in alternate universes, so I'll explain what's going on with that too. It's not quite as complicated as it sounds, but there's also a couple jokes about the in-universe merch, too, that Reed Richards creates, which they will also probably sell in real life, like the iPhone-looking devices, the smartwatches that he creates during the 1960s of their universe. First law of Marvel, really any movies, TV shows just in general, anything that can be turned into a toy will be turned into a toy and sold as merch. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Just because we're getting closer to the movie actually coming out, we're going to start seeing more footage from this, from Superman, like all the big summer movies that are coming out the next couple months. It is going to be a wild, wild summer, like really, really good for movies just in general. The whole reason why they try to tie these promos to like real life sports related stuff like ESPN is because Disney owns ESPN in addition to all the Marvel stuff. So it's just brand synergy, just very corporate stuff that you would normally expect. Also because most movie studios, not just Disney, try to drop really big trailers during basketball, football games, just because so many more eyeballs are on those games. Like, so there's so many more sports people around the world than they're all just like general movie or Marvel fans. They're trying to get everybody on the planet to go see their movies. So anybody that wants anybody to see anything really wants to get their stuff shown during big sports games.
Josh falls over the crowd as rookie sensation Deadpool lines up the shot.
It's sort of like that phenomenon of them dropping trailers at the Super Bowl just because so many people around the world are watching it at one time. It's like the biggest possible billboard that you could possibly get. But because the main part of the Fantastic Four movie specifically takes place in the 1960s of their universe, they've been using the retro-futuristic vibe of the promos themselves as if this were filmed during the 1960s. It's not really till the end of their movie where their timeline syncs up with the Thunderbolts post-credit scene and they jump from the 1960s in their universe to the present day of the MCU. The reason for that is that in the MCU, this is also kind of a real-life concept, or at least is based on the theoretical real-life science. Nobody in real life has been able to actually prove this. Like, if you're a scientist out there and you have been able to travel to alternate universes, please let me know for reasons. Maybe we can all find a better timeline to go live in. But at least fictionally, inside the MCU, alternate timelines, alternate universes don't all begin at the exact same time. Like, Earth isn't populated at the same time. Like, humans don't rise up at the exact same point. It's just an easy way to explain during scenes like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness when they're jumping through different universes where everything seems like it exists during different time periods. So in this new trailer, they mix up the timeline of the movie quite a bit, so it's a little bit confusing. They showed the in-universe highlight reel footage of the team before they got their powers. You can tell when it's happening based on the types of spacesuits that they wear and the fact that Ben Grimm is not in full rock thing form. Later in the movie, after they get their powers, their spacesuits all look vastly different, like they're modified to actually fit their powers. Like, for instance, Ben Grimm's is way bigger. It doesn't have the special faceplate because he doesn't need it. All this footage with them in the new versions of the spacesuits inside space in the spaceship seems like it's happening later in the movie when they're trying to fix the problem of Galactus. Like, how do we get rid of Galactus before he destroys the Earth? Because we've seen the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, we've seen the rest of the trailers, we know the answer to that question is you don't stop Galactus. But because they've already said that the movie isn't meant to be an origin story type of movie the way they play their timeline, like the original Chris Evans Fantastic Four movies, all this footage of them before they got their powers seems like it's just in-universe promo footage that they watch playback of on TVs and monitors, like that footage of Ben Grimm on the street in his full rock thing form, watching old footage of himself before he got the powers.
The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, you mean?
And the way that Kevin Feige has explained it too, this is another big twist. They were already a team called the Fantastic Four before they got their powers. Like the Future Foundation already existed before they got their powers. So it'd be like the Avengers already being a team working together, solving problems, just like being scientists together before they all get their comic book origins and abilities. Then you have to imagine the Avengers getting their powers and then just deciding to fight crime with those powers after that. So at least before the Fantastic Four were using their powers to fight crime and solve like bigger problems, they were just regular scientists, NASA astronauts basically in their universe. Where it's actually meant to be a reference to the Beatles going on Ed Sullivan back during the real life 1960s with all those arrows. And it looks like Silver Surfer and Galactus attack while they're in the middle of doing the promo, and they all get the smartwatch alerts. Like Reed Richards creates these smartwatches for them, and it just tells them, holy crap, shit's going down. Love the whole vibe of their technology too. It's like Reed Richards creating Apple Watches, iPhones during the 1960s. They'll probably sell these as merch, like I said, when the movie comes out. There was even some in-universe concept art with what looks like a version of an iPhone during this period, like a smartphone during this era. The way they filmed the split screen here feels very old-timey too. I don't know if this is actually in the movie or this split screen is just for the purposes of the promo, but I would not be surprised if they filmed part of the movie in the 1960s type of style, like the way that movies in the 1960s use their editing. Ang Lee kind of did something like this with the comic book style panel transitions during his early 2000s Hulk movie with Eric Bana. It's one of those types of movie tricks you either love or you hate. Like if you really like the way that 1960s movies did stuff like this, it can feel a little bit silly in present day, especially if the tone of whatever the movie is way, way darker. Maybe someday we'll see Eric Bana cameo as his Hulk again. Secret Wars feels like the place to do that, but he keeps saying he thinks that Marvel's never going to bring him back, but you never know. It's probably the same situation when it comes to Edward Norton's version of the Hulk, even though technically he's meant to be the same Hulk as Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, like they're the same character. There was all that Secret Wars concept art that they released during Greenland from Battleworld during the more recent Secret Wars run, or at least based on that. We will see if they wind up doing a version of that in the movie, but the Russo brothers, when they came on the project, basically rewrote or they're trying to rewrite all of Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. So whatever they were doing before might get changed significantly in the new version the Russos are doing. Then there's brand new footage of the team basically getting those watch alerts. They probably changed what the watches actually read for the purposes of this NBA promo, like, there's a big game, everybody get out and go watch the game. Within the actual movie, it probably just alerts them that Galactus, Silver Surfer are attacking, like there's a big attack going down. You see them rush out of the studio, and Johnny Storm flies off. The rest of the team jumps in the Fantastic Car and drives to the disaster site. It seems like it corresponds with this footage of them all standing in front of the Fantastic Car in the middle of the street with their eyes looking up in the sky like, holy crap. It seems like this corresponds to the footage of Reed Richards trying to fight Galactus through these buildings here using his stretching powers, Sue Storm in the street using her force fields, those scenes basically. Like this footage of Ben Grimm running through the streets and then breaking all these pillars for the building. I think part of the idea here is that the movie hypes their team up as this super effective group who's really good at using their powers. They've had them for a couple years at this point. They've been working together for a long time, taking down villains, and generally the world just expects them to be able to solve any problem because Reed Richards is so smart and the team itself is just so good. Sort of like the way the in-universe MCU views the Avengers teams after the battle in Avengers Endgame. Just being able to stop any problem. Like, you brought back half the universe, your team can do anything. In the Thunderbolts movie, that's the whole reason why Val created the Sentry, is because there was no Avengers team to save the world anymore as far as she was concerned. So she was trying to find a way to create somebody that she could control that could replace them. Didn't go so hot for her, as we saw during that movie. But it seems like in the Fantastic Four movie, that's when things turn in the trailer and you see Reed Richards get super, super worried. Like, you know what? I'm not totally sure we can solve this problem. There's other footage of him talking to the rest of the team saying there's not enough time. Basically, it gets to the point at the end of the movie where it seems like he's been running all these different calculations and is a time runs out situation where he basically gets to the idea that there is no actual solution, no actual way to stop Galactus.
There's not enough time.
I think one of the real questions, though, that people are asking, the footage doesn't really make this clear, is why do they come to the MCU? Like, why do they travel across universes? Does it happen before their world is destroyed? Like, are they escaping to the MCU? Or is it an accident when they're trying to sacrifice themselves, like some last-ditch effort to stop Galactus? My early assumption, because they want to portray the team like they're heroes, they love their world, so they're not going to bail on their world probably before it's actually destroyed. It's probably going to be a situation where they actually witness as their world is destroyed and they're left in a universe where basically everybody is dead, and the only way for them to survive is to jump to another universe where there is a version of Earth that's there they can actually travel to. There's a lot of unreleased trailer footage that they had in the Comic-Con promos from a couple years ago where Reed Richards starts talking about alternate universes, alternate dimensions. So it's probably the idea where their world is destroyed and he's like, I've already come up with the idea that there is an alternate version of Earth out there that we can travel to. Let's try to see if it exists. And they travel to what winds up being the MCU. Then you get the events of that Thunderbolts post-credit scene where they show up and the team detects them like, what is this ship? Who are the Fantastic Four? Because there has been no Fantastic Four in the MCU, so nobody in the MCU knows who they are, except for Doctor Strange, who has met a version of Reed Richards in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness in the 838 universe. When it comes to characters like Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, we're supposed to see him for the first time in live action at the end of this movie, but it's not clear if he's going to be the Doctor Doom from their universe who also just survives because he also finds a way to escape to the MCU when Galactus shows up. Or if he's from another completely different universe and he's already been traveling the multiverse trying to deal with the incursions and enact his plan to basically save the multiverse from all the incursions, but in a more time runs out, Avengers Secret Wars kind of way. So are there any Easter eggs or references that you spotted in this new Fantastic Four footage that I didn't talk about in the video? Write them below in the comments and let me know what you want them to do with the Fantastic Four characters just in general in the future after Avengers Secret Wars. Somebody should also tell Kevin Feige that they need to turn Galactus' head into the popcorn bucket for this movie. I would definitely buy one of those. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. I just did a Spider-Man Brand New Day first look just because they did a big presentation, revealed a bunch of footage and villains in the movie. Click here for that. And click here for that video of that random dude just breaking on to the Avengers Doomsday set, taunting Marvel to arrest him and lock him away for the rest of his life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.